otherwise would not even really get into. And right before the break, teased there was a draft announcement to get to, and here in the last few minutes, a big decision, but not one by any means that is much of a surprise. But Baylor freshman Keyonte George has officially declared for the NFL draft. NBA draft, excuse me. Projected as a lottery pick and has been for the last several months. But, yeah, he is going ahead and making it official. He doesn't have Twitter, so I guess he posted his graphic on his Instagram page, and then his mother posted a picture of the graphic on Instagram. Wanted to thank his Lord and Savior, and without him, nothing would be possible. Also said, growing up, it was always my dream to play for a school that felt like home and treated me like family. I was blessed to find that at Baylor. He thanked his coaches and teammates for making him the best version of himself. Thanked the fans for taking in a kid from Louisville and treating him like one of their own, and said that he's forever grateful, but that he has decided to declare for the 2023 draft after a lot of conversations with family and coaches. And he put that into the headline, God's timing. I think this is the timing that God and everybody else figured Keyonte George would have at Baylor and in Waco and before the NBA. So y'all's thoughts on Keyonte George officially declaring?
Yeah, he's probably a lottery pick because he can score. I mean, like, there's no the other parts of his game are going to have to be developed, as opposed to a lot of guys where, you know, like, I'll just give you the example of Ben Simmons, who's a ridiculous guy, draft pick, and has been essentially, in my opinion, a bust everywhere he's gone, but still makes it. They had to teach him how to score as opposed to doing some of the other things. Keyonte George has got to learn how to do the other things, but he can put it in the bucket. So yeah, I think he'll do well. I just hope, and this is what I hope for every athlete that gets drafted anywhere, that when you get drafted, the organization that drafts you knows what they're doing. And that's one of the hardest guarantees, because sometimes you can wind up going to a place like the Warriors, who, even though you might have gotten drafted later, they know what they're doing, right? So you pretty good. And other times you go to the Orlando Magic and you think, what did I do to deserve this? I worked really hard, but there you go. So
yeah, I know it did not end great because he was kind of beat up. He talked about he'd never played with so much tape on his ankle. Did not have a spectacular finish, but you can see what the NBA scouts see. And maybe his game is even more built for the NBA style, although there is the possibility he has to kind of, go through some lumps and maybe some hurdles before he gets to that point. But him declaring, by no means, as you said, is any kind of surprise.
No, not at all. So that is now official, and got asked the question in here about whether he hired an agent. I didn't see anything about that. I would assume that he has. I've thought since he signed that he was going to be in the NBA draft a year later, so I think that's pretty much holding true, and perhaps he hasn't, but I don't know that for sure, so don't quote me on that. Did we get into the World Baseball